Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason you're here. There's a purpose that beats within your heart, even if you can't fully see it yet. Life, in all its twists and turns, isn't random. It's a journey carefully crafted by a higher power. Every step you've taken, every mistake, every triumph, it's all leading somewhere. But to walk this path, you need faith. You need trust in something greater than yourself. You need to know deep in your soul that God will guide you to your true destiny. Trust is the foundation of any journey with God. It's the act of surrendering your understanding, your logic, and your plans to something infinitely greater than yourself. But let's be honest, trust isn't easy, especially when life throws curveballs, when doors slam shut, or when the path ahead is clouded with uncertainty. It's human nature to want to control, to plan every detail, and to ensure a predictable outcome. But here's the truth: God's plan for your life far exceeds anything you could ever dream or imagine. His perspective is eternal, his wisdom boundless, and his love for you unfailing. Think about it. How often do we limit ourselves because we're stuck in what we think is possible? We get caught up in the how, forget about the who is guiding us, who is orchestrating every detail of our lives. It's God. He doesn't operate within the constraints of human logic. His ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts higher than our thoughts. What might seem like a detour, delay, or even a disaster to us could be the very thing that propels us closer to our destiny. But trusting God requires letting go of the need to know everything, letting go of the timeline you've created in your head, letting go of the fear that if you don't make something happen, it never will. That's not how God works. He's not asking you to figure it all out. He's asking you to trust him, even when it doesn't make sense, especially when it doesn't make sense. And here's the beauty of trust: it doesn't eliminate fear or doubt, but it quiets them. When you trust that God's plan is greater, you can face uncertainty with peace. You can walk through the valley knowing that it's not your final destination. You can endure trials not because they're easy, but because you know they're purposeful. Every challenge, every closed door, every unanswered prayer is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. Remember this: your understanding is limited, but God's is infinite. You see a snapshot, but he sees the whole picture. And in that picture, he's already worked out every detail of your life. He's already accounted for your mistakes, your failures, and your doubts. Nothing you've done can derail his plan for you. So stop striving, stop worrying, and start trusting. God's plan is not just greater than your understanding, it's greater than your wildest dreams. Life often feels like a maze filled with twists and turns, dead ends, and uncertain paths. It's natural to want to see the whole picture before taking the first step. We crave the security of knowing exactly where we're headed, how long it will take, and what obstacles might appear along the way. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith is not about having all the answers up front. It's about trusting that the answers will reveal themselves when the time is right, one step at a time. Taking one step at a time requires courage. It's not about giant leaps or dramatic moves. It's about consistent, intentional progress. Faith isn't the absence of doubt or fear. It's moving forward despite them. You might not see the end goal, but you don't need to. The light God provides is enough to guide your next step. That's all you need, just enough light for where you are right now. And as you step forward, the path becomes clearer. It's like walking through fog. You can't see far ahead, but with each step, more of the road unfolds. This is where trust comes in. Trust that God is leading you, even if the path feels uncertain or unfamiliar. Trust that he has already gone ahead, preparing the way for you. When you focus on the step directly in front of you, you free yourself from the paralyzing weight of trying to figure out everything all at once. You stop worrying about tomorrow and start embracing the opportunities of today. Faith is active, not passive. It calls you to move, to act, to take that next step, even when it's uncomfortable. It's in those moments of action, no matter how small, that God begins to work in your life. He honors your willingness to trust him with the next move, and as you do, he shows you more of the path ahead. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent steps. These steps might seem insignificant now, but they're building something much greater than you can imagine. Every step forward is a declaration of faith, a statement that says, I believe God is with me, guiding me, and I trust him to show me what's next. The journey isn't about speed, it's about obedience and persistence. Each step matters, and each one brings you closer to the destiny God has designed specifically for you. Keep stepping forward and watch how faith illuminates your path. Preparation is an act of faith. It's a way of telling God that you trust his promises and believe in the blessings he has planned for you. When you prepare, you position yourself to receive what he's already set aside for you. But preparation isn't passive. It's not just waiting for things to fall into place. It's actively aligning your life, your actions, and your mindset with the future you believe God has for you. Think about it. A farmer doesn't wait for rain before planting seeds. He prepares the soil, sows the seeds, and trusts that the rain will come. In the same way, you need to prepare your life for the blessings you're praying for. If you're asking God for opportunities, are you honing your skills? If you're seeking a breakthrough, are you building the character to sustain it? Preparation isn't about perfection, it's about readiness. It's about doing what you can today to be ready for what God has in store tomorrow. God's blessings often come with responsibility. He's not going to hand you something you're not prepared to handle. If you're praying for a big promotion, are you developing the discipline and work ethic needed for that role? If you're asking for deeper relationships, are you becoming the kind of person who can nurture and sustain them? God's timing is perfect, and he won't release blessings into your life until you're ready to steward them well. Preparation is your way of showing him that you're serious, that you're willing to do the work necessary to align with his will. But preparation is also about faith. It's about trusting that your efforts are not in vain, even if you don't see immediate results. It's about believing that the seeds you're planting now will bear fruit in the right season. Sometimes, the hardest part of preparation is staying consistent when nothing seems to be happening. That's where faith comes in. Faith reminds you that God is always working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. When you prepare, you're not just waiting, you're actively participating in God's plan for your life. You're positioning yourself to receive his blessings with gratitude and responsibility. So keep preparing, keep planting seeds, keep showing up. When the time is right, you'll find that every moment of preparation was worth it, and you'll be ready to step into the blessings God has prepared just for you. Comparison is a thief of joy, a silent enemy that creeps into our hearts and minds, robbing us of the peace and gratitude we should have for our own journey. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with images of success, beauty, and achievement, it's all too easy to look at someone else's life and wonder why ours doesn't measure up. But here's the truth: your journey is uniquely yours, handcrafted by God with a purpose and a plan that only you can fulfill. Comparing your path to someone else's not only distracts you, but also diminishes the unique calling God has placed on your life. Every person's journey is different because every person's purpose is different. God didn't create you to live someone else's life. He created you to live yours. The talents, challenges, and opportunities he's given you are tailored specifically for the destiny he's designed for you. When you focus on what others have, you lose sight of the incredible gifts and blessings in your own life. You begin to devalue the steps you've taken, the progress you've made, and the lessons you've learned. But your journey isn't meant to look like anyone else's. It's meant to look like yours. Avoiding comparison requires a shift in perspective. Instead of looking outward at what others have or where they are, look inward. Reflect on the progress you've made, the obstacles you've overcome, and the ways God has shown up for you. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small they may seem. Every step you take is a step closer to the destiny God has for you, and that is something worth celebrating. Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. The challenges you face, the lessons you learn, and the growth you experience along the way are all part of God's plan. When you compare your journey to someone else's, you miss out on the beauty and purpose of your own. You forget that God's timing is perfect, and what he has for you will come when you're ready for it. Instead of comparing, focus on gratitude. Thank God for the path he's placed you on, even if it's not where you thought you'd be. Trust that he knows what he's doing and that every twist, turn, and delay is preparing you for something greater. When you embrace your unique journey, you free yourself from the burden of comparison and step into the peace and joy that comes from knowing you are exactly where God wants you to be. Letting go of fear and control is one of the hardest things we face as human beings. We like to plan, to predict, and to hold on tightly to the outcomes we think are best for us. But fear and control are rooted in the belief that everything depends on us, on our strength, our wisdom, and our ability to make things happen. The truth is, when we cling to control, we limit what God can do in our lives. We leave no room for his greater plan to unfold, a plan that far surpasses anything we could imagine. Fear often stems from the unknown, from stepping into a space where we can't see what's ahead or predict what's coming. But faith requires stepping into that very space, trusting that God's light will guide us, even in the darkest moments. Letting go of fear doesn't mean you won't feel it. It means you won't let it paralyze you. It's choosing to trust that God's power is greater than your fears, that his love will sustain you, and that his plan is always good, even when it doesn't make sense to you. Control is an illusion. No matter how much we plan, prepare, or try to force outcomes, life has a way of reminding us that we are not in charge. And thank God for that, because our limited understanding could never match his infinite wisdom. When we try to control everything, we end up exhausted, anxious, and frustrated. We block the flow of God's blessings because we're too busy holding on to our own agenda. But when we release control, when we open our hands and our hearts to God's will, we make space for his plan to unfold. Letting go requires surrender. And surrender is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of trust. It's saying, God, I may not understand what's happening right now, but I trust that you do. I may not know what's next, but I know you're already there. Surrendering fear and control allows you to rest in the assurance that God is working all things together for your good. It frees you from the constant need to strive and struggle, replacing it with peace and confidence in his sovereignty. When you let go, you're not giving up, you're giving in to something greater. You're allowing God's perfect plan to take precedence over your imperfect understanding. You're stepping into a life of faith, where the burden of control is lifted and the beauty of God's purpose begins to shine through. Trust that when you release fear and control, you're not losing anything, you're gaining everything that God has intended for you. Serving others is one of the most profound ways to align yourself with your true destiny. It's in giving that you truly begin to understand the purpose behind the gifts, talents, and abilities God has placed within you. These gifts were never meant to be hoarded or used solely for personal gain. They were designed to uplift, inspire, and make a difference in the lives of others. When you focus on serving, you step out of your own limited perspective and into a larger vision of what life is truly about. The act of serving others isn't just about helping them, it's also about discovering more about yourself. As you use your gifts to meet the needs of those around you, you start to see where your strengths lie and how they connect to a greater purpose. The path to your destiny often becomes clearer when you stop asking, what can I get, and start asking, what can I give? It's in the giving that clarity emerges and the pieces of your life begin to fall into place in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. Serving doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. Sometimes it's in the small, consistent acts of kindness and generosity where your impact is greatest. It could be lending a listening ear, sharing your knowledge, or using your skills to solve a problem. Whatever your gift may be, it becomes a powerful tool when used in the service of others. And as you pour into others, you'll find that God pours into you, providing opportunities, insights, and direction that you couldn't have accessed otherwise. Serving others also cultivates humility and gratitude. It reminds you that life isn't just about your own dreams or ambitions, it's about contributing to something bigger than yourself. This mindset not only honors God, but also positions you to receive his blessings. When you serve with a genuine heart, free of expectation or entitlement, you open the door for God to move in your life in extraordinary ways. Your destiny is not a solo journey, it's deeply connected to the lives you touch along the way. By serving others, you become a reflection of God's love and grace, and in doing so, you fulfill a part of his plan for you. The more you serve, the more your gifts will grow, and the clearer your purpose will become. You'll find that as you help others achieve their goals, God will lead you closer to your own. Serving isn't just an act of kindness, it's a path to discovering who you truly are and what you're meant to do in this world. As we draw this journey to a close, remember this: your life is not an accident, nor are the twists and turns along the way meaningless. Every step, every challenge, every triumph is part of a greater plan designed by a loving and all knowing God. Your destiny is not something you have to create from scratch, it's already written, waiting for you to step into it. But stepping into it requires trust, faith, and action. Trust that God's plan is infinitely greater than your understanding. Let go of fear, release the illusion of control, and allow Him to guide your steps. Take one moment at a time, knowing that faith will illuminate the path ahead, even if you can't see the entire journey. Prepare yourself, not just for the destination, but for the growth and transformation that the journey itself will bring. Avoid the trap of comparison, for your path is uniquely yours, and no one else's timeline can define your success. Serve others with the gifts God has placed in you, and watch how purpose and clarity unfold in ways you never imagined. Your destiny is not just about you, it's about the lives you're meant to touch and the impact you're meant to leave behind. As you align with God's plan, you'll find that His blessings flow into your life, not because you chased them, but because you trusted Him to provide. Above all, never lose sight of this truth: God's hand is upon you, guiding you, molding you, and preparing you for something far greater than you could ever achieve on your own. Keep your heart open, your faith strong, and your spirit willing to follow where He leads. In the end, you'll find that every detour, every delay, and every challenge was leading you to exactly where you were always meant to be: a life of purpose, fulfillment, and divine destiny. Trust the process, trust the plan, and trust the one who holds your future in His hands.